All right, I'd like to call to order the City of Menasha Board of Public Works. Ms. Galeazzi, please take attendance.
Alderman Zielinski.
Here.
Alderman Benner. Alderman Nichols.
Here.
Alderman Taylor. Alderman Kraut-Kramer.
Here.
Alderman Langdon.
Here.
Alderman Keehan. Alderman Rollins-Jump has been excused.
Okay, first order of business is to approve the minutes for June 15th, 2015. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Oh, sorry. Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chairperson Kraut-Kramer. I'll make the motion to approve the June 15th, 2015 minutes from the Board of Public Works.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Awesome. We have two.
We need discussion of
Any discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry. Any discussion? I'm jumping the gun here. Seeing that there is none, could we have a vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion is approved. Moving on to action items, we have two tonight. The first action item is a change order for Yankee General Contractors for the Gilbert Riverfront Trail, contract number 2014-03, to deduct $9,205.75. This is change order number 2. Mr. Tungate, could you give us a little information on this deduction?
Sure.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
guess I'm filling in for Mark tonight here, and I'll do the best I can on these two items. Really, Mark did a great job on, I think, explaining where we were at with this Gilbert Trail project. As you recall, there were two parts to this project. One was for the trail itself, and the second part was for the actual reuse of the railroad trestle down there. So what we encountered, and I'll try to be brief here, it's basically explained in the memorandum here, what we encountered when the contractor started to work on the trestle portion. They found some of the pilings were not in the best of shape, and it really made us pause and want to step back and take a more in-depth look at that structure there to see if we wanted to use it as we wanted to originally use it. So we brought in another structural firm to come in and review that trestle structure, and that took some time to get to that point. But we did find that probably 80 to 90% of that structure really wasn't worth salvaging, and so that's part of the recommendation that's spelled out in the memorandum as well. So really what it kind of boils down to, it was good we found what we found. It caused us to go back and reanalyze the route that we wanted to take and to look at our options, and that took several weeks to get to that point. And with the help of our own engineering staff and R.A. Smith and everybody, we came up with an alternative route that really I would say it really won't impact the look or feel of the trail at all. And in the end, when you take both these change orders together, it's going to deduct about $50,000 from the project, which is, I guess, never a bad thing. And you're really getting the same project. It's just really we're going to be, in the end, we're going to be keeping just a little bit of the trestle. The structural analysis that was performed told us that the section of the trestle that goes over the outflow, if you will recall where the canal outflow is, that structure is in good shape, and so we're going to retain that. And basically on the west approach, you're going to have a brand new approach up onto the trestle. And then rather than going another 200 feet down on this old trestle, we're going to be coming off the existing trestle back on the land, and the trail will head eastward. And really the east end of the trail really isn't changing at all. It's going to terminate at, right around the property line between, right at the Donnelly property line is where it's going to terminate. So that, the far east end of the project really isn't changing at all. It was mainly just, you know, encountering this, the trestle that was in worse condition than we first expected. So I guess that's the long version of what's in Mark's memo there. And there's really, I mean, there's the two change orders. So I think I actually addressed probably both of them with that.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any discussion? Yes. Alderman Zelinski?
Thank you. Brian, since we're going to be deducting close to $50,000, do we have to return some of that money? Because some of this was a grant.
No, we're, on one hand, $50,000 is a significant amount of money, but it does not lower the amount of the project enough to really impact the grant. We haven't sufficient. I mean, we're putting in a few of our own dollars to direct purchase some things. So we're still sort of the magic number is $1 million. So this project, I don't know what it comes down to, $700 and some odd dollars. Plus you take the donated value of the land is factored into that. So that gets you close to that $1 million mark already. So we're at the point where we'll still get our complete grant. So it's really not a worry there.
Since most of these pilings were just beyond their life expectancy, why couldn't they catch this earlier? Because I was down there and you could walk right underneath that bridge. It's not, I'm sure it's the bottom part in the water that's rotted away.
Well, that part was hard to see. What was also hard to see was once you took off the pier cap, it exposed several of the piers were rotted, and from the inside, and basically the top pier cap was covering the rotting, and so once we removed several of those, we're like, oh, wow, there's a few more here than what we thought, and so that's what caused us to really stop the project, kind of reassess where we're at, and like I said, with the help of R.A. Smith and others, we've come to this solution.
And there was no charge to the city for locating the problems, which
Nope,
should have been.
that was, they brought in this firm from down in Madison. They specialize in trestle structures, and so, yeah, no, they absorbed that cost.
Okay. I just think it could have been caught earlier because they were very accessible underneath because there's like 6 feet before where you can reach the water unless it was covered with ice or something. I don't know at that point. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Do we have a motion to approve the change order for Yankee General Contractors, Gilbert Riverfront Trail? Alderman Nichols?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move that we forward to the council the change order for Yankee General Contractors, Gilbert Riverfront Trail, contract number 2014-03, with a deduct of $9,205.75, change order number 2.
A motion, do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Could we take a roll call vote?
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Attorney Captain?
I just want to add a few things. The contractor was informed to stop work, so there is an issue with regard to that, perhaps, that is not all worked out yet. They did work on a different, they were initially, or at some point, they were ready to start working on that portion. They did start working on that portion and then were informed to stop working on it because obviously they wouldn't continue with the project since there was an issue, a structural issue that came to light. And so then they had to move their operations and work on a different portion of this trail. And they would have different employees that would have been working on that. And so we are not aware yet if there are any consequences as a result of that. There was a question with regard to additional monies, and if the city would have to expend any additional monies as part of the project, or the failure to see that these pilings were worse than what was initially reported to us, and the engineering costs that were incurred. Is it R.A. Smith, right? R.A. Smith has paid for that thus far, so that has been the arrangement. They have paid for that. But as far as Yankee is concerned, with them having to, stop work and work on a different part of it, I am not aware yet if there are any consequences with regard to that. That is something that certainly we will be working on. It's a different issue, but I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. That is out there.
Okay, thank you. We had a motion.
Could maybe add something to that?
Director
I'm not aware of Yankee's desire to move forward with anything like that, but I do know that Corey Gordon from our engineering department, he's been involved with this a lot, and he said the reason he works with Yankee more closely than I do, and so the reason we really need this approved tonight may be somewhat related to what Pam said, is that the contractor, if it's not approved tonight, there will be some mobilization costs, meaning he will move some of his stuff off the site, his pile driver and excavator and stuff, because he's got to move on to some other projects. So he really, it's to our benefit, I think, to work with him on this, and so there would be mobilization costs, is what I'm being told, that Yankee is relayed to Corey. That, and the fact that once he's gone, he is really made no guarantees to Corey when he might come back. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 2 months. So it's and on one hand, you'd like it's a little more time to process this perhaps, but I think that it's in our best interest to move forward with this tonight.
Thank you, Director. Alderman Nichols?
This question is for Attorney Captain. Since I made the motion, I just want to be clear and make sure I understand what I heard. And are we okay with going forward with this evening, moving this on to the council? And you're just making us aware of an issue that may occur later?
Attorney Captain?
Yes, that's correct, and it would be my recommendation to move forward.
Thank you. Just wanted to be sure.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Alderman Taylor?
Attorney Captain, when were you aware of what you just explained to us?
Attorney Captain?
If I could ask for clarification of the question, aware of what?
What you just explained to us about the contractor having to move his crews.
Go ahead, Attorney Captain.
I'm just trying to remember. Whenever it was first reported to the Common Council that there was an issue,
Alderman Taylor?
Yeah, in the future, if you're aware that some information in the packet would be helpful. I'm not at all interested in the city picking up any costs. The disclosure on this should have been realized long before Yankee had his crew there and there was a problem. So the other company that did the analysis should be picking up this cost, not the taxpayers. No, that's my stand on that. I don't want to see anything come back and hit the taxpayers up on this.
Thank you, Alderman Taylor. Any other discussion? Alderman Langdon?
Thank you. Brian, last summer you and I were down there. Now, they couldn't find the issues until they cleared all that. They were only like in the beginning of the trail last year, and they couldn't find any problems until that bottom of that trestle was cleared out so they could get underneath.
And if I can
When
just...
did
If I can just interrupt.
Attorney Captain?
That issue has not been resolved. If you're asking for an opinion, that would not be one that Brian would be able to answer.
Well, yeah, because this has to go with them pulling their trucks and things off the Gilbert site, and I want to know then why. Who was the contractor? Remind me, who was the contractor doing the Gilbert site? Yankee? So then I got to laugh because Yankee's been taking their little old time taking down the Gilbert site, and now he's threatening us. Yeah, he's, huh? No, he's pulling his. No, what was it? Did you say that they were going to pull their?
It was a different demolition contractor. It was
Oh, it wasn't
Glenn,
Yankee?
yeah, statewide, I think was the,
It wasn't Yankee.
no.
Oh. Okay. So okay. All right. Gotcha. Good. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Alderman Zelinski?
Thank you. Brian, when's the completion date that we're supposed to have this done by? Did the state said something with their grant?
We have, I think, a 2-year cycle, so we're well within that time frame. If Yankee can get rolling again here in the next, day or two, I mean, I don't see that as being it's not going to significantly alter our completion date. I think we're still talking about sometime, late summer, early fall.
Okay, so we should hopefully, if we run over, do we have time? Is there a drop dead date that this thing was supposed to be done to affect the grant?
No, and the state also, if you would need to do that, if we would need to do this, they do make extensions. They do make exceptions to, extenuating circumstances.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second on the floor. Could we take a roll call vote, please?
Motion carried on roll call 7-0.
Okay, the next action item we have is another change order for Yankee General Contractors for the Gilbert Trestle Improvements, contract number 2014-04, to deduct $41,383. This is change order number 2. I believe you touched on this already, Director Tungate. Is there any discussion? Alderman Nichols, go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we forward to the council change order to for Yankee General Contractors Gilbert Trestle Improvements, contract number 2014-04, with a deduct of $41,383, change order number 2.
Thank you, Duke. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Take a roll call vote, please.
Motion carried on roll call 7-0.
Seeing that there are no other action items, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a move to adjourn.
Do we have a second? All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? All right, we are adjourned.